Well, we're wet again, but we knew this was coming. I don't know how much we ended up with. It actually rained a fair bit overnight, so definitely not going to get down in the muck tomorrow, which is fine because the elevator's not open anyway. I might late tomorrow afternoon run the combine and the tractor and the cart down there and get the end rows worked off, so I got a place to start. But that's probably gonna be the extent of the combine we're gonna do tomorrow, if anything. So, but we got something different planned for tomorrow that I think everybody's gonna like, so we'll just have to wait and find out what we got going on. But anyway, got some tires to change. Hopefully they don't come apart that bad because they've already been off once to have the tubes put in them. So, well, the new tubes put in them. And we're just going to reuse the tubes. Those are tubeless tires, but just, I've already had one bad experience with debeading a combine tire because I just rather have tubes in steer tires. So anyway, get this thing jacked up and we'll get the wheels off and go from there. Well, I must say I'm incredibly happy that I went with the 16.5/16 ones instead of going to a different tire and rim combination, because those look badass on there. Tires make the look, and she looks good. That's gonna be a whole lot better than them damn diamond treads. A whole lot better. Plus, there's no cord showing like there was on the other ones. That's the biggest. Well, other than the fact that they were just terrible for the application anyway. That was the biggest problem with these. Is you probably can't see it for the mud, and you kind of can there. There's no rubber left in between the treads. It's all cord. So I'm surprised they lasted as long as they did, because that was what happened when the one went flat. Something had got down. It doesn't matter which tire it was, but something had got down underneath one of the lug pads and poked a hole in the tube. So I knew that they were going to have to be replaced at some point. I was just hoping to wait, because, oh boy, them things were salty, but they're going to be worth it. And therefore, there seemed to be a bit of confusion as to exactly why I was wanted to run bar lug tires on the steer axle, because I had some people say, well, why don't you just get like 3 ribs or something and put on there, because they'll stay clean in the mud. Well, that's not the problem. Like those, they wouldn't steer for shit. If it got greasy, all they wanted to do was slide. They wouldn't steer. 3 ribs would help you steer, but steering is only like 1/3 of your problem. The biggest issue you have with something with steer tires on a 2-wheel drive combine that don't have some sort of lug to them is when you start to sink, they just quit spinning and start pushing mud, and next thing you know, all your horsepower, rather than going towards keeping the machine moving, is all of a sudden going towards dragging the boat anchor of a rear axle, because you're pushing mud with the rear tires. Where if you run a bar lug tire, if you start to go down, they'll still bite and spin. And that's the biggest thing that you got to have with a combine, is you got to keep them rear tires spinning. So that's the reason for the bar lug tires. Turning left and right is only half the battle. You got to keep them spinning. So hence the reason for the bar lugs. Those wouldn't turn and those wouldn't spin. Those are just, I want to find the dumbass that thought that that was a good idea to put those on the steer axle of a combine, because it seemed like in the late 70s, early 80s, all of everybody, Deere, Massey, White, IH, seems like everybody that put balloon tires on their steer axles ran those junk bastards, and I do not know why. I mean, if you're in wheat country or something where, for the most part, you're not going to be fighting mud. I mean, I'm not going to say those guys don't fight mud every once in a while, but compared to like the Midwest where we got shit like this, they aren't fighting nearly as much mud as we are. I could see those being okay. In the Midwest, So anyway, that job's done. While I got this thing down here, I'm going to spin it around and grease it and clean the windows and blow the radiator out so that it's ready to go for Sunday. And then when I get that done, we're going to go get the new tires or new tires and rims mounted on the 7300. I already swapped out the tires last night, so they're on the rims. We just got to go get them on the machine. So I'm going to service this thing, and we'll catch you guys over at the barn. Okay. So 7300's turned for some new shoes. I am not going to put the wheel weights back on, because I don't need them carrying the grain table around. It's not nearly as heavy as the corn head was. And if I don't need them, there's no sense in carrying that much extra weight back here on the back axle where you really don't want it if you don't need it anyway, because it's just going to sink if it gets into a soft spot. So, but my hopes are that I can mount the rims the other way so that they look normal, but I don't know if because we gotta, to run these rims, we had to make wheel spacers. So I don't know if these will give me enough offset to flip the rims and mount them like you would normally with the dish out, or if I'm gonna have to mount them dish in like they were. We will find out. But anyway, get after it. Well, I know it's dark, so you can't see for shit, but those things look pretty good on there too. And even though they're Titans in the front to Carlisle's, the tread pattern's pretty damn close to matching too. Those are kind of those bars have a little bit of a curve to them, and these have a kink in the center, and then it comes out about 5 inches, and then it has probably about 4 or 5 inches, and then it's got another kink in it. So they're not quite a curve, but for being two different brands of tires, two different treads, they're pretty damn close. So they're a little taller than the 750s, but I held them up when I got the first one mounted. I laid it up next to the Field and Roads that were on one of the Field and Roads that was on there, and they're just about the same height. So I guess the first time I go to back this thing out of the door, we'll have to watch it just to make sure. But yeah, looks kind of weird without the wheel weights on there. Ever since I've had this thing, it's had the rear wheel weights, but like I say, don't really need them now, so why have them on there? Just more tire wear and more weight to carry around when you're trying to go through mud. So, and I got the last Sunday, I got the new elevator chain in, so that's done. We don't got to worry about that anymore. So she should be ready to rock and roll. And while we're over here, I tried starting the old 525 last weekend and the battery was about dead, which made me kind of sad, so I threw a maintainer on it. Maintainer says it came back, so I guess since we're here, let's see if we can't get the old girl to pop off and move the old fluids around, huh? This has got a throttle pump, so you can do that. Sorry it's so dark. Okay, baby. Let it prime up for a second. Nice thing about an electric pump. Okay, darling, you gonna be nice to me? I know you're probably jealous. Oh, yeah, let me put the camera down. I need both hands for this. Listen to her just purring away. It makes me sad. It's the first time in, how long have I owned that? 11 years? I'm pretty 10. Must be 10 years. I either bought it when I was 16 or 17. So it's either 10 or 11 years I've had this thing, and this is the first time since I've had it that she hasn't ran. It's so sad. But we're gonna get her all set up for wheat, and this winter I want to see if I could find a wheat screen for it, for the shoe. I'd like to find a small wire concave for it, but those are probably not going to be very easy to come by. So I would settle for finding a wheat screen. And we gotta, looking at how they did the floating bar on this head, I don't think it would be that difficult to make that love bar lock up like what on the head for this, and then I could just run the cutter bar that I have for this and not have to take all the love bar shit off. So if I ever decide that I need to run two machines in beans, or I have an issue and I need this for a backup or whatever, I still have the other head set up for cutting beans. So plus that would make my life a whole lot easier, not having to do anything to that head, just make it where I can lock the bar up. So Anyway, I'm gonna let her run here for a little bit and warm up and charge the battery and call her a day after that. So I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.